Hi guys, brilliant. So if you could let me know if anybody turns up. Very poorly announced class this week. I apologise, but there wasn't enough time earlier in the week to let you know because I wasn't sure what I was doing time by the way. So if no one else turns up, this is no problem. We'll just do the Sunday class. I just wanted to honour the original commitment. Lovely, Elsa, brilliant, nice to see you. We normally have about 15, 20 people, but yeah, I didn't announce the class in time this week, that's the problem. Because I was supposed to be teaching an intensive and it didn't then happen. Right, we'll just give it a couple more minutes. And for those of you that are here, other than Elsa, if you could just say who you are, that'd be fantastic. Salut, hi Elizabeth. Hey Priya, nice to see you again. Sorry, it's a small group this week. But, it's because I've divided the class and our Australians can't do this time. Just give it another 2 minutes. Good. Just 2 more minutes and then we'll start. Good, 5, that's fine. So if you could just say who you are, just so I know who you are, that's fine. Right. So small group, lovely. So that's absolutely fine. So I'd like you to start by acknowledging that when we are using would, should, and could, okay, when we are using would, should, and could. Oh, hi, Chado, nice to see you again. Okay. Oh, it's your birthday. That was brilliant. It was your birthday. It was. Brilliant. So if you are using would, could, and should, I want you to divide would and could and should. I want you to keep them separate. Would is going to be on one side, could and should. Hi, Douglas, it's lovely to see you. So would is going to be on one side of what we're going to be doing, and could and should are going to be on the other side of what we're doing, all right? Within that, we're then going to divide if we've got would have or could have, should have. So we're making 2 divisions. We're dividing would, could, and should into would and should and could. And we're dividing would, could, and should with would have, could have, should have. So we're listening to whether or not there's a have, all right? So first sentence to translate. I would eat something. I would eat something. So if I were hungry, I would eat something. Yeah, let's have if I were hungry, I would eat something. If I were hungry, I would eat something. Okay? Can I have that translated? If you're not sure what you're doing, by all means, write down the stuff even that you don't understand, because that's going to help everybody else out. And as is obvious from the small numbers, which is great, I've got no problem. I teach individuals. We haven't got our normal 20, so we'll be doing the same class tomorrow. But I'd really like you guys to have a go, and we can give you some focused attention. So if I were hungry, I would eat something. No, Elizabeth. So there's a lovely spelling of manger for the imperfect. But what is going on with the, what is going on? Interesting, you both made the same mistake. Okay, so I would eat. Can someone tell me the name of the tense that we use when we say would in English? What's the name of the tense that we're going to be using in French? I don't care if you don't know the name, but what's the name of that tense? It begins with a C. Oh, says Elizabeth, good. So what's the name? Thank you, the conditional, right? Okay, so guys, when you use would, you are in the messy future tense, okay? It's thank you, Priya. But Priya, you waited until we spoke about it, darling. So it was a little bit late. So, so, so the fact is, yeah, when you use would, you are going to be using the conditional. Okay, would is a tense. Would have is a tense. Could and should, or could have and should have, are compounds which involve devoir and pouvoir. Okay, so again, I would. Let's do another one. So if I were happy, I would I would be in Paris. If I were happy, I would be in Paris, which sounds odd. It's like saying I'm going to Paris if I were happy, but that's fine. So say for me, if I were happy, I would go to Paris. Do that one for me. If I were happy, I would go. If I were happy, I would go to Paris. Stress on would. Yeah, so would equals conditional. All right. So if I were happy, I would go to Paris. Better. Lovely. Okay. Anybody else? If you're not quite sure how we got there, can I remind you that would go is part of one of the irregular series. Go is an irregular, so it has the irregular future or conditional block of ir. Yeah. The way to remember it is go in the future, and the conditional is about the ir, and the subjunctive of go, apart from nous and vous, is I. Yeah. So ears and eyes. Right. So if I were happy, those of you who are spelling happy, notice Elizabeth is a lady, so she said j'étais contente. I would go to Paris. J'irai à Paris. Lovely. J'irai à Paris if you were really doing the link, but no, less common. So so can I see everybody else who was going to type that? Type that. Can you do one more for me? I would like an apple using aimer. Using aimer, not using vouloir. Not using vouloir. Okay, I would like an apple. Pardon me, eating. Thank you. So Elizabeth has now realized the folly of her previous ways and she knows where she is. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so je voudrais, j'aimerais, you know, fine. Okay, great. Okay, next one. I would have liked an apple. Well, I would have liked an apple, but Elsa, she ate them all. Greedy Elsa, she ate them all. But we're happy for her to have them. So I would have liked an apple. I would have liked an apple. So question, can we here have? Think about that. I would have liked an apple. I've got an answer from Elizabeth. Can I see other people? Good, Priya? Anybody else? Good. So basically what we're saying then is the conditional past, okay? It's what I basically, when you go one side and then the other side, it's like a Charleston tense. This side, j'aurais, okay? But over to aimer. Great. Next thing then. I would have liked it. I'm sure if you'd shown me the photograph, I would have liked it. I would have liked it. Bearing in mind, would constructions are tenses, which means normal rules apply. Bits before verbs. Brilliant. Okay, good. I would have liked to see them. I would have liked to see them. So far I'm seeing Priya and Elizabeth writing. I'm not seeing too much writing from other people. If you want more time, yeah, please just let me know. Okay, I don't want this to be a class with no disrespect to Priya, but I've had her for a long time. I don't want this just to be the Priya and the Elizabeth class. I want other people to have a right. So if you don't understand this or you're watching quietly, let me know, okay? So I would have liked to see them. I would have liked to see them. Can we have a see what that is? Great. We're moving along nicely. So what we're acknowledging with would is that there's nothing to worry about. It's just a normal tense application of the verb. Great. Lovely. And in that case, because we've got an infinitive, bits before verbs, unless there's an infinitive, my pronoun is going to go before the infinitive. Okay? Good. Careful prior and the spelling. So, next up. We would have liked to buy some using new. Using new. We would have liked to buy some. Often said in English as we would have liked to have bought some. We would have liked to have bought some is often what you were saying in English. We would have liked to buy some. We would have liked to have bought some. Good, so we're safe. We're safe with the new. Great. Moving on along, okay? So we're safe with the would. Everybody sees the would. Great. Next up. We should go there using on. We should go there. Good. Next one. We would have using partir. Can I see some other people writing, please? I don't want this to be the Elizabeth show. With all due respect, Elizabeth, it's lovely, but yeah, some other people. So do we understand why? Okay. We would have spoken. Yes, but I asked using on, but that's fine, okay? Yeah, that's fine. We would have spoken to each other. So we would have spoken to each other. Oh, if I'd known you were there, Luke, we would have spoken to each other. Right, two things. Firstly, when you use on est parti and you are referring to nous plural, I just suddenly realized we're not writing en as in general one, we're writing nous. So that would have parti s on the end of it because the en would be representative of the, so you'd see on est parti. Okay? But the fact is, if we are speaking to each other, okay? Could you say to me, guys, we spoke, no, could you say from each other, we speak to each other, present, and we spoke to each other? Just write those two next to each other. What's happened? So yes, Elizabeth, but could you think about how you'd say that with nous, in other words? Lovely. Elizabeth, you don't need to worry because I think you understood what was going on. But Priya and Jaro, could you please write out, we spoke to each other. Could you give me that in the past? We spoke to each other. In the past. Now, yes, you're right for using nous, nous sommes because you are the imperfect, you are the reflexive partial. Je me suis, tu, t'es, il, c'est, nous, nous sommes, vous, vous êtes, ils, se sont. That's correct. You're not right for popping the parler down because with an S because parler there is an indirect. Okay, so you only pop an S on the end when you're using the extra verb structure. So je suis parti, elle est partie, on est parti. Or you're using a reflexive or a reciprocal verb, but your ending is for a direct verb. So in the sentence, we saw each other, nous nous sommes vus, that's fine, or ils se sont vus, that's fine, because obviously the thing that was seen was them. In the sentence, we saw each other, this is not what we're focusing on now. What we saw, sorry, we spoke to each other, what was spoken? Not us. Or another really dumb way of thinking about it is if I asked you to say, I speak with a him involved, you'd say, je lui parle. You wouldn't say, je le parle. That would be like, I speak it, the language. So if you would say, je lui parle, when you write, nous, on s'est parlé, or whatever going on, you're not going to have any agreement. Ils se sont parlé. You're not going to have any E or an S. So for example, if I said, we touched each other, or they touched each other, ils se sont touchés, there would be an E or an S, or depending if it was masculine or feminine, but there'd definitely be an S because it's plural. Because if you said, I touch him, je le touche. If you said, they showed each other their photographs, yeah, okay, ils se sont montrés leurs photos, then the thing that is being shown is the photographs, yeah? So that would be indirect. I show them my photographs, je leur montre. So in other words, when the verb that you're sticking on the end of the reflexive, okay, or reciprocal, yeah, is not, and in this case reciprocal because it's not, you know, is that kind of verb, then you're not going to have an E or an S on the end. Does that make sense, Priya? So in other words, nous nous sommes parlé is correct with the nous nous sommes, but you still need you can't have an E and the S on the end. Great. So Priya, would you just look at what you've written? No one else has written it, so guys, I'd love to see some writing. What was the auxiliary that you wrote? You wrote nous nous sommes. What auxiliary verb is that from? Which auxiliary verb is that from? In other words, is that from être or avoir? You tell me. Is that from être or avoir? You tell me. Thank you. What are Lukey's two rules when it comes to compound tenses? Be stays be, have stays have, only the auxiliary changes. So if you're taking, okay, yeah, we spoke to each other, okay? How am I going to say we would have spoken to each other? Only the auxiliary changes. Elizabeth, you got this a while back, but I don't think you've written it out for me with nous yet. So we would have spoken to each other. With we, Hannibal, with we. So you're right for using sir, well done, but with we. Nice to see you, Hannibal. Mo? We are speaking to each other. Yeah, do we understand, guys? This is annoying in English. If we say I would have come or he will have come, he'll have come, he'd have come, that's okay because we're using have and we use have in English. All of you understand I left, je suis parti. You're like, yay, être verb, I understand this, okay? Any être verb or any reflexive verb will always use be, or reciprocal verb will always use be as the auxiliary, all right? Always, okay? I got washed, je me suis lavé. Yeah. How would you say I would have gotten, depending where you're from, I would have gotten washed? Only the auxiliary changes. That's the law, isn't it? Be stays be. Have stays have. Great. And on that occasion, Elizabeth, you're welcome to pop an E on the end because what got washed, you did. What's our Czech sentence? We wash him. Do you say je lui lave or je le lave? Je le lave. So that shows me it's direct. And that shows me an E and the S goes on the end. Great. So moving on. I should have said something. I should have said something. Now, I remind you guys that have just come, when you do would, could, should, you need to divide it twice. You divide into would and could and should. You keep them separate because would is a verb tense, would have is a verb tense, could and should have a verb, are not verb tenses. And then also you divide your line into 3 lines of 3. Would, could and should, and would have, could have, should have. You listen to the have. Spelling issue, Hannibal? There's a spelling issue there. See if you can find it. But good. Don't worry about the accents, but can I see other people write out that sentence? I should have. Can somebody please? I don't mind abbreviations of quelque chose because that's what we use for the dictionary definitions. Alors, permettre à quelqu'un de faire quelque chose. But can someone write out quelque chose for me properly, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lovely. Right. Can someone now give me, I should do it. I should do it. No, Priya. 2 words. Yep. Common mistake. Quelquefois, you know, quelqu'un, we've got all these different combinations, but quelque chose, okay? Good. Can I have, for those of you that haven't yet, lovely, careful, 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 careful. I should do it. I should do it. So, when you say I should, is there a have? Is there a have? When you have a should, sometimes you follow the sentence with the word have, and sometimes you don't. I should speak is just going to be placing the word. No. Right, let me explain. When you've got would, it will just be the conditional of the verb. When you've got could, it will be the conditional of pouvoir. When you've got should, it will be the conditional of devoir. Pourrait, devrait, and then whatever the verb is. When you've got would have, could have, should have, often abbreviated in spoken English to would have, could have, should have, you're going to have to go conditional auxiliary, then into the past. Conditional auxiliary, then into the past. Okay? So, if you say, I could, so in your mind, both all three sentences or six sentences start the same. You know, I would have, they both start with I would. I should have, they both start the same. I could have, they both start the same. Listen for the have. If you are not using have, you're just going to go to the conditional. So I would eat, je mangerai. I could eat, je pourrais manger. Can we have a timeout and can I just quickly check that we know that could can go in two directions? If I was talking about I could next week, I'd be je pourrais. If I was talking about I could last week, that is the imperfect, je pouvais, okay? So lovely, devrait. Yeah, lovely, okay? No, Caro, no. So next thing, I should do it, je devrais. I should do, je devrais faire. Do we have an infinitive in je devrais faire? Do we have an infinitive? Yeah. So what's my rules for the pronouns? That means pronoun before all verbs unless an infinitive. So if you look, Charo, in the sentence je devrais le faire, you're sticking the infinitive. Yeah. So with this in mind, guys, and listen to whether or not there's a have. They could. So next week, they could come. They could come. I'm going to spell it out for you. No have. There is no have. Which tense with would and could and should, beginning with the C word, which tense do we go straight into if we don't hear the word have afterwards? Which tense do we go into? So if I said they could come, and we're talking about, something in the future, which tense am I going to use if there's no have in the middle of it? That's lovely, but that wasn't my question. Which tense do we use? Yeah, conditional. Okay, thank you. Now, can you give me, ready? They could have come. They could have come. There's a have there. Which tense do we go into when we have a could have, would have, should have? Still in the same place, but we do it differently. We need to pop the auxiliary in that sense. So can you give me they could have come? No, Shinobi. So it's all right, don't worry. Would. Read this. Would have, could, would have, would, could, should, conditional. Yeah. The only difference between would and could and should is that with the would, you finish, and with the could and should, you also then need another verb. Well, you don't have to, but they're modal verbs. So you normally, je devrais venir, je devrais parler, il pourrait venir, il pourrait parler. When you've got would have, could have, should have, your auxiliary is going to go into the conditional, and then we need a past tense. We need a participe passé, okay? So that's it, okay? That's it. The only irregularity is if you are using would on its own with an verb, because then you obviously need to be careful about what your auxiliary is going to be. So could you guys write out for me? They would have left using partir. They could have left using partir. You write those next to each other. They would have left. They could have left. Remember what I say, would is a tense and could is a compound. By definition, would have is also dinner I'm trying to eat. And don't be afraid of writing your mistakes down. When people watch these classes afterwards, you know, hundreds of people watch them afterwards, they want to see your mistakes because they're going to be their mistakes. Priya and Elizabeth, it's funny how you're making this, Priya, what's going on in the last, so it goes this way, then this way. You're going into the past. Is partir the past verb? Right. So have a think. Here's another way of thinking about it. Should always involve, should always involves devoir. Always. No, Douglas. Hear me out, guys. Should always involves devoir, whether it should or should have. So il devrait versus ils auraient dû or j'aurais dû or whatever. It's always going to involve devoir. Dû is just the past tense of devoir. Should involves devoir. Yeah, whether it's should or should have or should have, however you're saying it. Could will always involve pouvoir. Whether it's past tense, could, je pouvais, on pouvait. Whether it's je pourrais, whether it's tu aurais pu, whatever version of the French that you're doing, could would involve pouvoir. So could will involve pouvoir. Now, next thing. If you are going could have or should have, the verb you are playing with is pouvoir and devoir. Somebody tell me, just with the letter E or the letter A, does pouvoir, or do pouvoir and devoir conjugate with avoir or être? Can somebody tell me, if I wanted to say I have been able to or I have had to, do these verbs conjugate with avoir or être? Somebody just write for me, E, and I am Elizabeth. Would somebody just write for me, E or A? Thank you. So my point is this. If you are talking about an être verb and you are saying, I should have left or I could have left, your left is going to be the infinitive. It's going to go at the end. Aurait dû partir. Aurait pu partir. We don't need to touch an être auxiliary because we're not conjugating those verbs. If I said I would have left, then the verb I'm conjugating is to leave, and that would get être. Does that make sense, Elizabeth? So, for example, I would have gone. The verb I'm playing around with is go. So, je serais d'aller. Okay, yeah, where we go? Okay, okay. Depending on, you know, whether you're male or female. I would have been able to go is basically how you're saying I could have gone. I would have been able to go. That's basically what you're saying, isn't it? I would be able to, I could, I would have been able to. And that would be j'aurais pu and my infinitive, aller. So I don't need to go near an être auxiliary. I don't need to go near an être auxiliary if I've got a verb which conjugates with avoir. All right. To stress, we're doing the harder version of this class tomorrow, but you know, you're welcome to come back then. Good. So with that in mind, then, could you now give me he should have let's say he should have returned, gone home. And the verb I want you to use for he should have gone home is rentrer. And for the most part, most of you should know this, it is an être verb, okay? It is a verb which uses être, okay? Which conjugates with être in auxiliary tenses. So if I'm giving you he should have gone home, he should have gone home, have a little think how I'm going to say that. He should have gone is basically going to be he would have had to go. Gorgeous, guys. Well done. Because the verb, when are you introducing the être verb? With the infinitive. That's the only stage you're introducing it at. Well done. Well done. Okay, that's the only stage you're introducing it at. You, singular, would have gone home. Let's say he's a boy. You would have gone home. How am I going to write that? There's no could, there's no should. Would and would have are tenses. Remember that. You would have gone home. Elizabeth, please pay attention. The verb I asked you to use is rentrer. Hey, Jake, nice to see you. Priya, spelling of a to verb, please, in the middle. Gabby, what form of a verb is rentrer? It's an être verb. Yeah? So it doesn't matter what your verb is. If your verb takes être, right. Good. Listen to me. If your verb takes être, watch this. Je suis parti, j'étais parti. Right, okay, so there are 10 French spoken tenses. Ignoring the passé simple, really. I mean, for obvious reasons. So if you said, okay, il parle, il a parlé, right, so il parle, il a parlé, il parle, il avait parlé, il parlera, il parlera, il aura parlé, il aurait parlé, qu'il parle, qu'il ait parlé, subjunctive, past and present. Okay, there are 10. 5 of which have auxiliaries, 5 of which don't. So auxiliaries are useful. So what this means is when you first start learning French, for you guys, I imagine you came across past tenses and you were like, oh, that's just for the past, that word there. That word there is going to be half of French tenses. So for example, if I came across the verb suivre, to follow, okay, and I discovered that the past is suivi, that suivi word, you're going to hear it in 5 possible places. Il a suivi, il avait suivi, he had followed, il aura suivi, il aurait suivi, he would have followed, he will have followed. I'm happy that he followed. Je suis content qu'il ait suivi. That's 5 times you're going to use that word. So it's really important when you get an être verb that you think, I'm going to see that être in 5 different places. The auxiliary is going to change, but it's going to be in 5 different places. So if I said, je suis parti, j'étais parti, je serais parti, will or would, spelled differently. As opposed to je serais stressed in different places. Que je sois parti. Luc is happy I left. Luc est content que je sois parti. So what I'm saying is any verb you come up with, any sentence you come up with where you're using be in your auxiliary, now that might be because it's an être verb, or that might be because it's just a reflexive or a reciprocal, it will stay be. So if I gave you went home and it was an être verb, using to, how are you going to say you went home? Using to and using the verb rentrer, how are you going to say you went home in 3 words? And it's a boy. 3 words. Past tense, you went home. How am I going to say that? It's an être-verb. Thank you. Be in the middle. Say for me, you had gone home. You had gone home. You had gone home. So remember when hearing had, but what are we doing, guys? We're being very careful. When you hear the word had, it's possible that it can be in a couple of places. It can just be on its own. I had spoken is not on its own. It is had as the middle word. It is had as the auxiliary. Had as the auxiliary means you are in the pluperfect tense, the further back tense of your verb. Had on its own means you are playing around with avoir in either j'avais or j'ai eu. So for example, I had a sandwich. 1, 2, 3, j'ai eu un sandwich. Yeah, because there's no reason for it not to be in action. Moi, j'ai eu un sandwich. I had lots of friends when I was little. J'avais beaucoup d'amis quand j'étais petit. J'avais, because that's a description. Yeah, I had lots of friends. So j'ai eu and j'avais, that's just with had. He had spoken. We had traveled. Or we'd, they'd. Okay? That's had in the middle. That is the pluperfect. Okay? So that is going to be about sticking your middle word into the was tense. So say for me now, I got washed, which is the normal standard past of I got washed, please. Using the verb se laver. Quick as you can, guys. Lovely, Elizabeth. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to go with Elizabeth's answer because it's correct. Unless you're obviously, Priya, you would need an E because you are a lady. Okay, so the point is this is an extra verb in the past. This is a reflexive verb in the past. Anything in these videos you don't understand, email me and I will send you the respective videos so you can follow. Okay, so yes or no, just type Y or N, or yes or no. Was there a be auxiliary somewhere in that sentence? Was there a be auxiliary somewhere in that sentence? Yes or no? Type Y or N. Was there a be auxiliary in that sentence? Je me suis lavé. Was there a be auxiliary in that sentence? It takes 10 seconds. Yes. All right. Someone else, there's 10 people present. Can somebody look at the sentence? Je me suis lavé. And can you basically, can you tell me whether there's a be from what I mean is from the verb to be. Is there something from the verb to be in that sentence? Thank you. There are 10 people here. I've had 2 responses. Come on, guys. Pull your socks up. Okay. Next up. I mean that, even if you're not going to volunteer a sentence, answer the question. Yeah? Good, lovely, thank you, Doug. So there is. So if I then went in any other tense, the be auxiliary will not magically become have. It will always be a be auxiliary. Let's look at my original. Right. Be stays be and only the auxiliary changes. Can you now write for me, I had got washed? I had a wash, in other words. Makes sense. Yeah. Listen to me. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's sweet of you to say. It is what I endeavor to try and make people understand. Yeah. So I had a wash. Now remember, when you're only changing the auxiliary, what does this actually mean? It means you don't change anything else. You don't change any other thing in the sentence. So if I gave you I got washed, look at what you wrote for I got washed. Thank you. Lovely, Elizabeth. Okay, or if you were a male, je m'étais lavé with that. Okay. Can someone other than Elizabeth, if you were going to write anything else, please write it for me because I can't correct you. It's not about just giving you the correct answer. It's about making sure you understand why. Okay, don't think, oh, I'm going to be quiet because clearly mine was wrong because Elizabeth has said something. Luke said it was great. Lovely. Je m'étais lavé. Lovely. And Douglas has written that beautifully for a man. Lovely. Okay. Don't bother spending time doing accents if you can't do them quickly. Just type your sentence, and I'll know that, and then just write the word accent after it, and that'll basically saying, look, here's my sentence, but I don't know how to do accents, because I think sometimes people spend so much time trying to pop on accents. They know that it's there, but they can't do it with the typing. Right? So if you can type your sentence, just bloody type your sentence, all right, and then I'll just write the word accent at the end, and I'll know you didn't miss it off. Right. So with that in mind, then, can you say for me, I would have gotten washed. Be stays be. Have stays have. Only the auxiliary changes. I would have gotten washed. Brilliant. Pardon me talking and eating. Brilliant. Okay. Next up, I should have. Ooh, alert, alert, alert. Oh, actually, before we carry on, I will have gotten washed. As in, like, come and get me at 8 o'clock. I'll have gotten washed by then. Yeah, that's the same thing. For those of you who do these classes who are not first language English, can I remind you that what we've done there is the contraction. I will, I'll. Yeah? So I'll have gotten washed, I will have gotten washed. Can I see I will have gotten washed? Will. Thank you. All right? Good. Next thing. I should have gotten washed. Actually, no, stop. Let's make it. Luke is happy that I got washed. And I'm going to spell it out to you. Luke is happy is an emotion, and that is going to evoke the subjunctive. Luke is happy that plus subjunctive, okay? So Luke is happy that I got washed. Can you translate that for me? Luke is happy. Be stays be. Only auxiliary changes. Right, Priya, if you are using j'aurais dû laver, that's not called Priya, not the amount of weeks you've done. Have a little look. Firstly, what is going on with je and aurais? Yeah, why are they not joined? Yeah. Secondly, if you've got j'aurais dû, what are after dû and pu, after the past participles, yeah? After dû and pu, we need the infinitives. Yeah? So j'aurais dû me laver, I should have gotten washed, or I could have gotten washed. Okay, so we'll do that in a second. So Luke is happy. Luke is happy that I got washed. Lovely. Luke est content que je me sois lavé. Great. Okay. Now, can you give me them? I should have. No, I could have gotten washed. I could have. Have we brought in could and should? Yes. What do could and should always involve? Which verbs do they involve, respectively? When we have could and should, what do we need to listen to? Could, should, or could have, should have? Put it together. Charo, no. Charo, which? Are you a Spanish speaker? Where are you from? Charo, where are you from, my darling? Either Charo is from this country, which takes a really long time to type, or we've got a bit of a lag on the internet. Charo, what's your first language? If you could just tell me, please. Great. So you speak Spanish. Okay. So you basically, you know about the subjunctive. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy that you're doing something, you know? Estoy contento que hagas algo, you know, rather than haces, yeah, or haces if you're from Peru, okay? So, yeah, you understand, okay? So, he has seen me, you know, me ha visto, okay? I'm happy he's seen me. Estoy contento que me haya visto. You'd need the subjunctive in the auxiliary there as well. So, the same as in Spanish. So, if you're saying je me suis lavé, you might be conjugating the verb with être, which is different from Spanish. I accept we don't have verbs which conjugate with ser and estar in Spanish in the middle. But what we do have, Charo, is that we do have a subjunctive in Spanish. So we're saying, okay, fine, conjugate your verb with être. That's fine, but it's still going to use the subjunctive. Okay. So so I could have now pause. Pause. Let me look at this mess. Douglas, no. Hannibal, no. Priya, no. Priya's second one, yes. Douglas' second one, yes. Hannibal's second one, yes. So I don't know what went wrong with all the first ones, but the second ones were great. So we deal with the can, and then the lave. Only the lave is reflexive. The pouvoir is not reflexive. We don't need anything reflexive until we've finished with pouvoir or we've finished with devoir. We only deal with the washing when we finished. J'aurais pu. We could have said I could have left. I could have danced. I could have laughed. I could have shaved my head. I could have done lots of things. Okay, so Gabby, Luc est content que je me sois. Yeah, que je me sois, that would be subjunctive, and then you didn't finish it off. I could have washed myself. J'aurais pu me laver. That was gorgeous. Okay, so let's just do a couple more. Okay, no need for sorry, Chana, but do you understand? It's going to basically involve the reflexive past. So do a couple more for me. So, so what I'm saying is, if you've got an extra verb, il est parti. Okay, you're going to use être everywhere. Être. Être. Okay, if I use could, I'm going to have a pouvoir everywhere. I could leave. I could have left. Yeah, or even in the past. Yeah, I'm going to have pouvoir. If I have should, okay, if I'm going to have should, then I'm going to have exactly the same thing. I'm going to have devoir everywhere. Okay, I'm going to, you know, that is just something that is just going to. I can't escape that. Okay, One second. Okay. So he should. Should. There's a devoir in there. There's a devoir in there. There's a devoir in there. My eyes are not good enough to see this. There's a devoir in there. There's a devoir in there, even in the subjunctive. Yeah. So you get these are the ideas that I'm on about. Okay, these are the ideas that I'm on about. Right. To finish, a couple more. Although we will be doing a more advanced version of this class tomorrow. Like I said, it was going to be in 2 stages. So write this for me. I should have understood Luke's examples. I should have understood Luke's examples. And I'm not saying any of you have done anything wrong. By all means, we're here to learn. But let's just pretend. So I should have understood Luke's examples. Lovely. If Luke had known that A had been absent, he would never have worked. Have a little go with this. Right, that's a really interesting point, Elizabeth. So, that's all right, Ajan, we're here tomorrow, okay? If Luke had known that they had been absent, he would never have prepared work for them. So this is basically the kind of material we'll be doing tomorrow. Elizabeth's question. Sorry, can you translate il a dû partir in English? Right, so, Elizabeth, don't attempt the next question for a second. Just listen to me for on this one. Do not think that there is a standard translation in English for anything in the past. What we say is this, or what we should say is this. If you hear have and has in your English, then you are definitely going to use a past tense with have and has, with an auxiliary in French. So, for example, he has spoken, you would definitely, obviously, clearly translate as il a parlé, okay? I have left, je suis parti. I got washed, I have gotten washed, je me suis lavé. You're definitely going to use the auxiliary. The passé composé, for want of a better word, the three. If you hear, Elizabeth, was, were, or used to, you are definitely going to use the imperfect. So, for example, I was obliged. No, I was speaking. Je parlais. I was dancing. Je dansais. I was saying. Je disais. Okay. I used to say. Je disais. Whatever. Okay. Most of the other pasts, Elizabeth, that you are going to come across in English are what I very stupidly but efficiently refer to as bruh. It means person doing it and then one past word. I spoke. I danced. I wrote. They ran. Okay. Negative of which is I didn't. Okay, so it's the simple past in English. But there is not a direct translation word for word between the two, because sometimes in English you will say bum bum, and it will be referring to something which could be imperfect in French. And sometimes you'll say bonbon, and it will be referring to something which could be passé composé in French. So, for example, I had, like we said earlier, a sandwich. So I always say, unless you hear, so if you hear have and has, go to 3. If you hear was, were, used to, go to imperfect. If you hear just bonbon, I had, go to 3, unless you hear, and a lot of the people here know this, repetition, description, mental state, or if. So, for example, if I say I had a sandwich, just a standard verb, 1, 2, 3, j'ai eu. If I say I had, curly hair when I was little, I had blonde hair when I was little, j'avais les cheveux blancs, okay? That would be a description. It's you, okay? You are very firmly, because you've used, the have, you're probably tempted to always translate it as I have had to, which it would be. I mean, if you heard I have had to, using the rules, you hear have or you hear has, so you're obviously going to go 1, 2, 3. Fine. This is an excellent explanation because it's buying all the rest of them time to answer my question. And I really hope that they are, having a go. So if it was I have had to, j'ai dû, I have been able to, j'ai pu, because you're hearing those tenses with a have and a has, Elizabeth. But if you still had I had to leave, I had to leave, even without a have or a has, you could still, if you were just referring to it like this, you weren't giving it an ongoing feeling, you were just saying all things done and dusted, looking back at it in one go, you could still say j'ai dû. So in answer to your question, after a lengthy but I hope clear answer, there isn't a standard translation for any verb in English where you just have a single worded past. I went. It could sometimes be j'allais. It could sometimes be je suis allé. I went to church every Sunday when I was a little boy. J'allais. Okay. I used to go. J'allais. Okay. I went last week. Je suis allé la semaine dernière. So the same with j'ai dû. You're reading it there, so maybe it came from English where you'd have I have had to, or maybe it came from English where you had I had to, but you've just chosen to translate it that way. Please let me know, Elizabeth, if that makes sense. Right. So if Luke had known that they had been absent, let's have a look. If Luke would have been able to know, if Luke had known. There's no mention of could, Douglas. There's no mention of could. So by all means, what you've written is not incorrect, but there's no mention of could. There's no mention of could. If Luke had known, si Luc avait su, okay? That they had been absent, qu'ils avaient été absents. Let me have a look. Qu'ils avaient été... No, Hannibal. Right, let's go through it one by one. Okay. They had been is the verb to be, yeah? But I'm still going to have the they spelling. I'm still going to have ils avaient, okay? Okay, ils avaient, okay? Stop think, basically, Elizabeth, sorry to jump back. Stop calling it passé composé. Just basically think 3 and 2. If you hear if you hear have, 3. If you hear have, has, 3. If you hear 2, so if you hear brr, 3, unless I've got was, were, used to, whatever. Unless I've got description repetition. So they had is going to be ils avaient. They had whatever, ils avaient. It's the was spelling, all right? So where are we, Hannibal? So, si Luc avait su qu'ils avaient été absent, parti would be a verb. That would have been that they had left. Yeah, the verb in they had been absent is be. Yeah, I have been, j'ai été. Okay, they had been absent. They had past tense of the verb to be adjective. S'ils avaient été absents. Okay, not if it was if they had left, then that would be s'ils étaient partis. Okay, he would have never prepared some work for them. Il n'aurait jamais préparé. What is it? What did I give you? Il n'aurait jamais préparé. Yeah, or you can insert a leur. Yeah, yeah. Il ne leur aurait jamais préparé. Il leur aurait jamais préparé. The leur would be for them as well. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to push you guys towards. The use of the indirect lui and leur for him, for them, as well as just pour lui. Okay, good. Douglas, if Luke aurait pu savoir, if Luke would have been able to know, if Luke had known, si Luke avait su, they had been absent. Why have I got had? If they had, Douglas, if they had been. Verb to be, être. Être, ironically, is not an être verb. I know that's cray, but être is not an être verb. I have been, j'ai été. Not to be confused with j'étais, which is I was, okay? So if they had been, s'ils avaient été absents, I told you they, so there should be an S on the end of it rather than an E. He would never have prepared, il n'aurait jamais préparé. That bit's lovely, and there's some lovely accents on préparé. Well done, Douglas. Du travail pour eux, or il ne leur aurait jamais préparé du travail. If you don't understand why I'm using leur for them, can you just say, I don't understand, Luke, why you're using leur for them, okay? Let's have a look. Ajahn Khan, I would say, I still don't understand. Okay, I'm going to come back to Ajahn Khan's question in a second, okay? Hannibal. Ajahn, will you just remind me if I don't? If Luke had known, si Luke avait su qu'ils avaient été Hannibal, if they had been absent. Parti is not an adjective. The word absent, got me doing it. The word absent is an adjective. They had been absent. Check it. I am absent. Je suis absent. They were absent. Ils étaient. I was absent. J'étais absent. J'étais absent. Depending whether you're doing the liaison or not. I have been. J'ai été. I had been. J'avais. Whatever's going on. J'avais été. Liaison to one side. The fact is, you are going to be using the adjective absent. You could have replaced it with content. If you are saying you're using partir, that is the past tense of a verb. So they had left, ils étaient partis. Okay. C'est Luc qui avait ils avaient été absents. Ils n'auraient jamais leur. So now, Hannibal, you did the thing I like, so that you used leur. Yeah. Okay. But it bits before verbs. Yeah, bits before verbs. In the sentence, ils auraient préparé, ils n'auraient jamais préparé, the first verb there is the auxiliary, bits before verbs. So, il leur aurait préparé, il ne leur aurait jamais préparé, il ne leur aurait jamais préparé. I can't do it slowly, il ne leur aurait jamais préparé. Okay, you're going to have to stick, il ne leur aurait jamais préparé. You're going to have to stick the leur in before any verb, okay? Elizabeth. If Luke had known, si Luke avait su, connu is indeed the past tense of to know, Elizabeth, but that's the verb to know a person, which is connaître. Si Luke avait connu qu'ils ont été, no, that's they have been, but you've done it beautifully with the correct verb. They have been absent, but it's they had been. Yeah, had been. Okay, I'm coming back to Ajan's question in a second, all right? Ils n'auraient jamais préparé le travail pour eux. Yeah, some work for them. Ils n'auraient jamais préparé du travail pour eux. But I would have preferred, yeah, okay. Hannibal, si Luc avait su qu'ils avaient été absentes, I'm going to allow the absentes, but we don't know that they're feminine, so it should be absent. Il ne leur aurait jamais préparé du travail. Lovely, Hannibal. Lovely work. Although, hang on, did that slip in after I'd already previously given that answer to someone else? Not taking anything away from you, but had I done that? Right. To finish, let me come back to Ajan's question. If you're working from English as your translation material, and we're going to look at ways of working when you're not working from English, because some of you are second language and we don't want to work off English. Some of you are second language English, third language French. And also, we don't always want to be working off English the whole time, because when you get up to speaking fluently, you don't want to have to. But first things first, pluperfect, to answer, the question, Ajahn Khan's question, is the had word in the middle. Luke has spoken, Luke had spoken. And in the middle means it's the auxiliary verb of the sentence. There's another verb on the end, all right? As opposed to Luke has spoken, Luke had spoken. Now, word for word, if you hit an auxiliary had, and what that means is a middle had, as opposed to Luke as opposed to had on its own. What's had without when it's not an auxiliary? It's the main bloody verb. Luke had a sandwich. Luke had blonde hair. Whatever. Okay. When you do that, that's not the auxiliary. What we're looking at with the pluperfect is when had is your middle verb. Okay. Had is your middle verb. Luke had died. Oh God, where did that come from? Luke had spoken. They had understood. So word for word in English, Ajan, if you use had as your middle word, or I'd plus the past, not I'd plus the whole verb, that is short for I would. So I'd understood is obviously short for I had understood. So anytime you've got a middle word of had, you're going to go with this pluperfect tense, Ajan. That's what you're going to use. In English and French, it'd be the same thing. Coming from a perspective where you're not using English as your first language, or you're trying not to. Putain, Luc, arrête de parler un anglais de merde. You need to use, you need to think about it. Had is simply something going on in the past that's going on further back. Let's say last Wednesday, Luke bought a blue t-shirt, and the week before, he bought a red t-shirt. If I spoke about both of those events in the past, I could just use the normal tense. I bought a blue t-shirt. Before that, I bought a red t-shirt. Or I could say 2 weeks ago, I bought a red t-shirt, and last week I bought a blue t-shirt. Nothing is stopping you using the two normal past tenses, okay? Hannibal, I'll come to your question. Let me just deal with Ajan, okay? I will come to it. If I'm saying, if I want to show my listener that the first thing in the past happened before, it happened. So we're in the present, something's in the past, but I want to say something happened before that, then I will use had. So last week I bought a blue t-shirt. The week before I'd bought a red one, but I also wanted a blue one. Or yesterday I saw my friend Priscilla, which is true. I had seen her the previous day, but we were celebrating some good news, which is also true. So I could quite happily say, yesterday I saw Priscilla, I saw her the day before, hier j'ai vu Priscilla, je l'ai vu la veille, I saw her the day before, that would be fine. But if I really wanted to stress that the one thing happened before the other, then I would put my middle word in the auxiliary into had, or in my middle word in the auxiliary into avait and était in French. So hier j'ai vu mon amie, je l'avais vu la veille, I had seen her the day before, I went to Paris. I went to Paris a year ago as well. You can use the same thing. Je suis allé à Paris. Il y a un an, je suis allé à Paris, whatever. But if you wanted to say, I had gone, j'étais allé, you're going to put that word in the middle, okay? That is where had comes from. As for the other part of your question, Ajan, about using the was versus the imperfect versus the passive composite, listen to what I said. If it's repetition, if it's description, if it's ongoing, if it's mental state, it will go into was. And I'm about to do a video on that. If you want more of the videos I've done so far already on the difference between the two, Ajan, just email me and I will send you them. Finally, let's look at the people's answers. Donc, c'est lui qui avait connu qu'ils avaient été absents. Elizabeth, il n'aurait jamais préparé leur travail pour eux. Il ne leur aurait jamais préparé le travail. Both are fine. Hannibal, Jérôme, c'est lui qui avait su qu'ils avaient été absents. Oh, yeah, we said about the absent. Il ne l'aurait jamais. Yeah, we've got that part. Gabby. C'est lui qui avait connu. Again, Gabby, lovely attempt, but su, because it's past tense of the verb to know a fact. Qu'ils avaient, spelling of avait, but otherwise correct. Gabby, well done. Well done, Gabby, but it's got to be, avait is going to be an A-I-E-N-T, because it's like the was ending in the middle verb, okay? Il n'aurait jamais préparé. Yeah, lovely. Great explanation. I just need to watch more videos for it to stick. No, Gabby, you do not. Elizabeth, you do not need to watch more videos for it to stick. You need to speak. Watch the videos and speak, speak, speak. Keep speaking, keep speaking, keep speaking. As I'm saying the videos, speak. Press pause, speak my examples. Nobody wants to sit and hear me speak French for two reasons. Firstly, if I'm jumping between the two, I'm altering my English, I'm altering my French, I'm altering both of them for you. I'm speaking French in a very clear, crisp way, which just isn't how we naturally speak. Okay, I'm making my French easier for you. So it's kind of almost like a false French. If I was going to speak normally, just be a lot more relaxed. So you shouldn't be relying on that as your sole source of French. You should be, speaking yourself. Secondly, get it in your mouth, get it in your mouth, get it in your mouth, okay? Hannibal's final question, and then I need to go. Can I ask a final question? Does aurait avoir have a different aurait pu? Yes, yes, of course, Hannibal. So basically, right. Any verb that comes after pouvoir is your next verb. So I could speak, je pourrais parler, he could dance, il pourrait danser, he could leave, il pourrait partir. He could have the beef and I could have the chicken. That's just your choice of verb. He could have. Il pourrait avoir. Il pourrait avoir. Okay. Il pourrait avoir. Okay. So basically, yeah, that's just the fact that you've said he could go, he could speak, he could leave. You could have aurait pu, but that would mean he could have or he would have been able to. So you could have both. You could have said he would have been able to have the beef. Il aurait pu avoir. You could have an avoir on both sides. Avoir before pu is the tense of pouvoir. Avoir after pouvoir is just whatever verb you're choosing to be able to do. All right. Does that make sense, Hannibal? Could you all click like? I would appreciate it. Okay, so tomorrow we will begin to, so basically, Hannibal, whatever verb you stick after these modal verbs, devoir, so for example, I should have something to eat. Je devrais avoir quelque chose à manger. Yeah? I should have left, j'aurais dû partir. I should have had, j'aurais dû avoir quelque chose à manger. Whatever comes after the pouvoir or the devoir in any of their tenses, that's just the next infinitive. That's what you could and should do. Yeah, that's for you guys to decide. Does that make sense? All right. So I will see you guys tomorrow evening. Those of you that want a slightly harder version of this, okay, we'll probably end up going over some of the main things, but we will be bringing in other elements of it because it's a really important topic. All right. But do you understand it now? Basically, Hannibal, to answer your question, the problem stems from the fact that in English, could have, the word order deals with the could and then deals with the have. And I totally accept that in French it goes the other way around. Yeah. But what's going to help your brain is think could have is the same as I would have, or I could have been able to. I would have been able to is I would have been. Yeah, so it's going to go. It's going to go auxiliary verb first. So that's why I totally understand why this problem arises, because I could have or I should have. You want to say je devrais avoir, and that doesn't mean the same thing. That's not a tense. That's saying I should have something else rather than I should have done something else. All right. But it's completely. You know, it's because the conjugation of would have and could have in French go auxiliary verb, then the could. Yeah, okay. Brilliant. If a few of you could click like, that would be appreciated, rather than just for. And I would see you guys anybody who's not subscribed, please subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you guys, those of you that want to, or by all means watch it. I will see you guys next. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the harder class on this. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Do email me. Do let me know if you want a specific verb, a specific topic for one of the live classes. It's your chance to get a free class, basically. Let's be honest, okay? It's my chance to show people watching the videos a lot of common errors, okay? So pick something you don't know. Don't pick something that I've obviously done loads of videos on that you just haven't been bothered to watch yet, you know, because I can just give you the videos. By all means, if you want videos on something specifically that you can't see, email me and I will tell you them, or I will do one for you. But if you have a really good idea for something that can consistently plagues you and creates problems for you, even though you've watched the videos, then do please still get in touch, all right? Okay, guys, I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Loads of love.